Are you ready to go from surviving to having more clarity, strength, and emotional alignment? Today is February the 17th, 2026. I'm Holly Key on Awakened Her, and I just want to talk to you a little bit more about what is being our horse. Well, we also had a fire solar eclipse, and so we haven't had any of this since 1966, which means it'll be another 60 years before we see another. So this is once in a lifetime event, and there's a lot of shifting going on. There's a lot of, you might have flu-like symptoms. You feel very tired. You might be yawning a lot, and that's because our body is trying to acclimate to the different frequencies. I also like to wear my EMF necklace, EMF, electrical. Shouldn't even try to say it. Electrical magnetic field. So with that being said, if you have cell phones around or always having a lot of different computers, it actually pulls from you and drains you. So with that being said, I want to help people realize, what do we want to manifest this year? Because this is the year of the horse, where we just ignite, we shoot out in power. And so with that being said, it's good to sit down and write a list of things that we want to rid ourselves of, whether it's habits, whether it's personality traits. That could be a lot. And so I know with myself, I've had an amazing awakening, and those can be triggered by different events that's taken place in your life. Now, I've been a Christian for many years, but however, this was much different than I've ever experienced. And with an awakening, some people are like, what is that about? Well, I do believe that I am a catalyst to help people realize what awakening is. And it's about taking that time to really look in yourself. A lot of people are afraid to do that. They are so afraid to, and I'm not trying to give a shout out here. I'm giving a testimony because it was a dark night of the soul. And with that being said, I just took the time to see what things were wrong in me. What could I improve? How could I grow closer to God? I had taken a Bible study course at my church, Anchor Point. Shout out to them. And it was amazing women's Bible study. And with that class, I really got to find myself and things that I needed to work on. And it was called Freedom class. That class ignited my catalyst to where I am today and what I feel led and called to do. I feel like I have been through a lot of trauma in my lifetime that you can't even get out of a book. The experiences that I have and that I've went through, and I look forward to sharing, my story and my testimonies with you. I even once owned a Christian bookstore for many years, and it became a great ministry. But with all that being said, I am here to help the people, help women get through this awakening experiment that is happening to everyone. And with that being said, I took a look inside to see the things that I needed to work on and things that I needed to be strongholds that I needed to be set free from. Once I decided to completely surrender my life to God, I was freed of addictions that I had been struggling with. I'd have my glass of wine. Sometimes it might be 2 glasses of wine. I would vape. I had been with someone for years and was committing sexual immorality, and that was preventing my walk with God. But I've learned through a lot that us women, we have our portal, and we actually have more power in us than we realize. And that's what I want to help women do, is realize, let's step into your power, because our portal, we birth things. And so when we allow people into our portal, into our world that is not of God, then that actually stops our creativity. It stops our blessings and our flow. And with that being said, I'm living a life now of just totally sold out to God. I don't want or need anything else but God in my life. And I want to let other women know there is life after breakup. There is life after realizing the last several years of your life was a lie. So I've been through many stages in my life where I've been in abusive relationships and things that I know that I would be able to help women get through. Working on a course currently from heartbreak to healing and using my raw experiences. And with that being said, I had wanted to start this podcast a while back, a couple of months back, and I hit a speed bump. Um, that's when you know the devil doesn't want you to do something. But I'm getting back on track. I have wonderful women in the background that is working with me to help build all of this world so that we can get in there and help the women that are confused right now and needing help, or in narcissistic relationships or in abusive relationships, and they want to find that way out, but they're trapped. There's been so many women over the past generations, my ancestors, that stayed in relationships because they were the homemaker, or their spouse was cheating on them and they had no money. They had no way to start over. And I'm here to be that example to women that it can be done. And I want to help break that silence, because I thought being silent and keeping the peace was strength. However, I've learned that speaking up is the key to empowerment. And I believe that us women, we have a right, we have a voice, and it's time that we're silent no more. There has been so much heartbreak that has broken my heart through seeing so many women go through things that we didn't deserve, from being casted out because you wouldn't submit to them, or when your beliefs had changed. If you don't do this, then you can't live here anymore. You give up things for your partners, your lives, jobs, to help them in a situation when you're let go in one day and you have to start over. So where do you go? And I want to be able to help you women rise up, and I want to pull you out of the ashes when you're laying there in the bed and you're struggling and you don't know what to do. You haven't showered in a couple of days. Like, I want to be that lady, that woman to say, I got you, girl, because I see you. I am you. And it's not right, the things that's been going on. And I feel like a lot of us women are a majority of us are empaths. I know I'm an empath. And with that being said, sometimes they feed off of that. They feed off of our energy. We become that supply to them. And that's why we have to keep ourselves pure and holy before God and close that portal, that we have to realize that we hold the key. We really hold the key to future things. I mean, when you look back in the Bible times, where when wars were about to take place or battles, um, the king would always turn to the queen to get her advice. We are very intelligent. We have intuition, and God gave us that for a reason. And God also said in the Bible that He had given women the authority to trample on the head of serpents, which is the devil. So we have that power, and it's time we take that power back. And I just feel like it's going to be a year of true awakening, where a lot of us women are going to stand our grounds, and we're not going to be silent, and we're not going to take this any longer. And it's going to cause the divine masculine to wake up, to realize you cannot treat women like this anymore. We have to set boundaries. We have to set a new level of respect for ourselves, and that we don't need anyone's validation but our own self and from God. He's our one true Father, husband, provider, everything. I am so excited. I do have also a 30-minute free session where I will do like an introduction and get to know you. So soon, be on the lookout. Great things are coming, and it's going to be an adventure and a great healing journey that you definitely don't want to miss. Stay tuned. I'm Holly Key on Awaken Her.